Hey there, fellow wanderers. Imagine yourself stepping through the ancient gates of Babylon, your feet stirring up clouds of dust with each step. The sun glares down upon you with relentless intensity, casting elongated shadows as it reflects off the sandy expanse. A warm breeze carries the mingling scents of spices and grit, teasing your senses as they adjust to this new world. It's a world suspended in time, vibrating with the whispers of history creeping from every brick and stone. This is not a fairy tale, nor a cozy story of adventure. It's a raw plunge into the reality of ancient life, a place where personal luxuries are items to be bartered, not taken for granted. So before we dive deeper, I ask only this. If this kind of raw, unvarnished truth speaks to you, click like, hit subscribe, and leave a trace of yourself in the comments. Tell me your city, your time, your state of mind. Now, dim the lights. Let the hum of your fan blend with the wind of centuries past. Let's begin. And remember, in medieval times, even survival was a luxury. As you stand there, you sense the monumental presence of the towering walls that once defined this city, famed for its impenetrability. Babylon was a hub of activity, a melting pot of cultures, ideas, and innovations, all fused together within its formidable stone barriers. The size of the city astounds you, stretching far and wide, with structures reaching toward the sky in a near challenge to the sun's authority. Your journey begins in the heart of this ancient civilization. Merchants shout from rows of bustling market stalls, their voices rising above the chatter and clamor of buyers haggling over goods. The markets of Babylon are a feast for the senses. Vibrant fabrics catch your eye, the smell of roasting lamb and fresh fish fills the air, and you find yourself captivated by the rhythmic call of street musicians in the distance. Every corner you turn reveals a new sight, a new bout of laughter or cry, life teeming in every grainy breath you take. But don't be fooled, this isn't your typical sightseeing tour. Babylon, though grand in its historic lore, is no playground. The thrumming city is relentless, with its harsh realities lurking just behind the veils of mystery and intrigue. You tread carefully through the crowds, realizing that the societal norms here vastly differ from those you've come to know in modern times. Ancient Babylon is a place of strict hierarchy and unwritten rules, nuanced yet rigid in its day-to-day operations. You must learn quickly, adapt even quicker, or risk becoming just another whisper in the sands of time. But there's beauty here too, in unexpected places. The people, hardened by their environment and challenged by the perils of life, hold an unyielding strength and spirit. Oddly enough, their routines, centered around faith, commerce, and community, carry a rhythm that connects directly to the pulse of the world around them. Security lies in tradition, in the wisdom passed from one generation to the next, sketched in the cuneiform knowledge etched on clay tablets. Historians still argue whether Babylon truly housed the famous Hanging Gardens, a marvel of engineering that still puzzles archaeologists today. Imagining those lush, terraced gardens teeming with rich foliage in the middle of the desert only adds another layer of mystery and awe to an already fascinating civilization. Your first day in Babylon presses on your senses, your mind buzzing with questions and impressions. Would you find a way to navigate its labyrinthine twists and turns, or would you stumble, a casualty of time slipping through its fingers? Here, in this crucible of civilization's infancy, every decision seems to carry the weight of historical consequence. You're merely a visitor, a future whisper meant to vanish as quickly as it appeared, but the city is eternal, carving its story into the annals of history. As you muse on these thoughts, the sun begins its descent, casting a golden hue over the city. The cacophony of the marketplace softens to a murmur, and a breeze brings relief from the day's heat, a brief respite for both body and soul. The city prepares for its nightly rituals, the gentle lull of evening promising rest for those who earned it. And you, weary traveller, find yourself absorbed in the rhythms of ancient Babylon, pondering what the morrow might bring. As you trudge through the sun-drenched streets, the sheer monumental scope of Babylon unfurls before you like an ancient tapestry, painted in hues of sun-baked clay and vibrant blues. Here lies a city famed for its sheer magnificence, a testament to human ingenuity and ambition on a titanic scale. The city is a sprawling grid, every corner meticulously planned, yet bursting with the unpredictability of life. The first striking element you notice is the looming, legendary walls of Babylon that encase this ancient metropolis. These aren't your average garden variety barriers. No, these walls are a fortress, impervious and immense, layered thick with bricks that tower over the city's inhabitants like vigilant stone giants. Legend has it that these walls were high enough to keep any enemy at bay, although historians still debate the accuracy of the ancient records describing their height. Through the main gate, your gaze is drawn toward the fabled Ishtar Gate, a celestial archway glazed in brilliant shades of blue, adorned with golden depictions of dragons. As you pass beneath this magnificent entryway, the detailing feels unusually familiar, as if it's a blueprint for a dream you once had. Those majestic creatures, sacred to the city's guardian deity Marduk, seem to greet every passerby, daring them to delve deeper into this wonderland. Amidst these dazzling sights, there's a palpable sense of power woven into every corner of Babylon. Euphrates River winds its course like a meandering guardian snake, every ripple signalling its life-giving force to the inhabitants in its embrace. You can almost hear whispers of past traders as they navigated their cargo along these waters, or the stern commands of those who managed Babylon's intricate canal systems, veins that fed this city's lifeblood. In stark contrast to the vast verdant fields of agriculture that feed the city lies the opulence of its urban core. Here, towering ziggurats rise like giant stone steps ascending toward the skies. Constructed with incredible precision, these temple complexes are decked with offerings, from sunflowers to stately idols, silent witnesses to the city's devotional life. To the Babylonians, these immense edifices served as a sacred bridge where the earthly met the divine. But Babylon isn't just a city of stone and clay. Within its boundaries roams a vibrant collection of souls, a melting pot of cultures, languages, and stories. Traders from lands as distant as Egypt and the Indus Valley have mingled here, their languages intermingling in an exotic symphony. Babylon's people themselves are a tapestry of ethnicities and social ranks, a living testament to the city's role as a crossroads of ancient civilization. Your eyes catch flashes of color as a procession sways through the streets, the rhythm of drums and flutes echoing in the air as priests lead rituals marking the cycles of life and passage of the year. The Babylonians are a deeply spiritual people for whom the gods aren't merely abstract, but integral players in the theatre of life. In their belief, every shadow is cast by divine will, and every harvest is a heavenly gift. As you wander further, glimpses of the legendary Hanging Gardens, though still debated for their very existence, pause you in your tracks. Impressions of cascading vines spilling over terraces and intertwining with exotic flora beckon you closer. If they truly existed, these terraced gardens would have been a man-made Eden, a green oasis in a world of sandy earth. A defiant flourish by a civilization at its zenith. Humor dances lightly around every corner, feeding off Babylon's contradictions. For even in this city of grandeur, the daily realities of life rear their persistently mundane heads. Vendors shout their wares as you watch an unbothered donkey find shade beside a fresher pile of discarded barley husks. Despite the earnest grandeur, domestic birds waddle about their busy lives, indifferent to history's heavy cloak. Despite the weight of antiquity pressing in, Babylon pulsates with a vibrancy that refuses to be diminished by time. As night falls, the city's heartbeat slows, but never falters, its majestic outlines silhouetted against the first glimmers of starlight. Underneath it all, you sense both the glory and the inevitable fragility that underscores every civilization, then and now. Here, in this city of legendary tales, you find yourself part of a story extending backwards through the ages. Dimly, the warm winds rise again, carrying with it faint strains of music echoing from past to present. In this timeless realm, the whispers of Babylon speak, inviting you to lose yourself in its ancient splendor. The unyielding sun beats down as you continue your odyssey through the sprawling city of Babylon. It's a relentless companion hanging high in the azure sky, casting its merciless heat across the land. The air shimmers with the intensity of the day's warmth, transforming every breath into a slow, deliberate act. It's a reminder of the Tigris-Euphrates river basin's unforgiving climate, a stark contrast from the modern creature comforts you may be used to. Imagine trying to find relief from this incessant heat, your skin prickling with beads of sweat that seem to vaporize almost instantly. This is a world where shade isn't just desired, it's a necessity to survive the sweltering conditions that define Babylonian life. You yearn for a cool breeze, a sign of respite, but here in ancient Babylon, the winds are more likely to carry clouds of fine dust that cling to you like a second skin. Sturdy sandals protect your feet from the searing ground, a testament to the ingenuity of Babylonian craftsmanship. As you make your way through the bustling streets, the Babylonians seem unfazed, accustomed to the relentless sun that governs their lives. Those who can seek refuge in the shadow of the great walls or beneath the shelter of canvas awnings that stretch across the marketplace, though the relief is temporary at best. Despite the heat, the streets are thrumming with life. Merchants hawk their wares amidst bustling crowds, their voices rising in an unending symphony of haggling and greetings. But even as the human activity captivates, the harsh environment remains an undeniable part of the narrative. Though water is a precious commodity, flowing viaducts and sophisticated irrigation systems, Babylonians' ingenious attempts to harness the Euphrates' bounty provide a lifeline to the parched earth. A surprising infusion of humour takes shape in your observation of the Babylonian markets. For the traders here, dealing with heat is just another day at work. Want to buy a wool garment or a goat? Be ready to sweat through the negotiations as you stand under a sun that seems to enjoy overlooking every transaction. This comedic layer of reality adds an ironic twist to the day-to-day negotiations of Babylonian life. The duality of life here, a dichotomy of struggle against and reliance on nature, is embodied in the yearly inundation of the nearby rivers. Historians still argue whether Babylon's intricate water management systems were primarily for agricultural support or strategic military defense. Whichever theory holds true, it's evident that these waterways provided the essential means for survival in this arid climate. As the day wears on and the sun creeps towards the zenith, a stillness falls over the city. A pause in activity as the intense heat discourages all but the most necessary of tasks. Most find refuge in the cooler interiors of mud brick homes, clustered around shaded courtyards where families gather to rest and share tales of their day-to-day lives. In the distant fields beyond the city's walls, farmers tend carefully to crops that sustain this civilization. Barley and dates are staples, thriving in the well-irrigated land that contrasts with the sun-drenched earth. These are resources deeply intertwined with Babylon's prosperity, providing food and the much-relished date wine that accompanies many a meal. As evening finally approaches, the oppressive heat gives way to a gentle coolness, a gift from the setting sun, which drapes the city in a tapestry of warm colours and long shadows. The Babylonians, resilient against the burning day, emerge to breathe life back into their streets. The air grows festive as families and children come forth to enjoy the reprieve, laughter carried on the dusky breeze. Engulfed in this ancient environment, you begin to appreciate the ways in which these people, who lived thousands of years ago, adapted and thrived in their challenging climate. Their resilience and resourcefulness paint a vivid picture of perseverance over adversity, a narrative as old as time, yet eternally relevant. It's in these moments of relief and reflection that a deeper connection to our collective past emerges. A bridge between the ancient and modern worlds, woven from the simple joys that transcend time. As you venture deeper into Babylon, the intricacies of communication and connection reveal themselves like a hidden scroll unfurling under your gaze. The once familiar sounds of chatter and commerce morph into a gentle cacophony of unfamiliar words and dialects, engulfing you in a world where language is both a tool and a barrier. Welcome to the linguistic labyrinth of ancient Babylon, where understanding and being understood is an ever-challenging art form. You find yourself surrounded by the melodic cadence of Akkadian, the language of the Babylonians. It's a tongue that seems to roll like the gentle lapping of Euphrates against its banks, at once soothing and enigmatic. But fear not, brave traveller, you're not entirely lost in translation. You spot a scribe, one of the erudite elite tasked with the vital function of reading and writing in this city. Clutching his reed stylus, he etches symbols into the soft clay of a tablet, crafting lines of cuneiform in a dance both mesmerizing and confounding. Cuneiform, the earliest known form of written expression, is a system of writing composed of wedge-shaped marks impressed into clay. At a glance, it resembles a well-orchestrated pattern of footprints over desert sands, or the frenetic march of tiny crabs across wet mud. To the Babylonians, it is the language of trade, law, and religion, a text that carries the heartbeat of their civilization in indelible clay. But deciphering this language is not for the faint-hearted. Each set of symbols could represent words, syllables, or complex ideas, a daunting prospect for any modern traveller thrust into this ancient reality without the comforting crutch of translation apps. Fortunately, within this chaos, the scribes maintain the order. Consider them the forerunners of today's coders, with knowledge that unlocks narratives and engraves history with each stroke. You attempt a polite greeting, your rendition of Babylonian well-wishes more akin to a tongue-tied rendition of ancient karaoke. The scribe, a bemused smile playing on his lips, responds with a kindness that transcends the linguistic chasm, correcting you with patience steeped in ancient hospitality. This interaction is both charming and enlightening, a reminder of the power of genuine human connection beyond spoken words. In the heart of Babylon, language serves not only as a medium of exchange, but as a status symbol. Knowing how to read and write Akkadian grants access to the upper echelons of society, where records are kept and decisions are documented in clay. This privilege requires years of study, setting a clear line between the learned scribes and the common folk, who rely on oral traditions to convey their stories and preserve their pasts. Interestingly, historians still debate the extent of literacy among the Babylonians, with varying accounts suggesting that while scribes and the elite held mastery over this skill, many everyday transactions relied on trust and verbal agreements, a world where body language and barter speak volumes beyond scripted lines. You wander further through the city's linguistic landscape, noticing how the language changes subtly in different quarters of the city. Each market and neighbourhood is a tapestry of linguistic diversity, where the guttural tones of neighbouring Elamite intertwine with Aramaic traders' flowing exchanges. Greek whispered by visiting scholars mixes with the choirs of accents that make Babylon a rich canvas for cultural interactions. In its way, it resembles the melting pot of modern cities, where a harmony of languages paints everyday life in brilliant hues. In the evening, you find yourself at a small gathering within the cool confines of a Babylonian home. Family and friends converse animatedly, sharing stories in Akkadian, their tales wrapping around you like a comforting quilt. Though you may not grasp every word, the camaraderie and laughter need no translation. It's a gentle reminder that while language can divide, it also has the power to unite, transcending the barriers it constructs with the simplicity of a shared human experience. As the night deepens, you reflect on your day in this linguistic maze, grateful for the chance to connect across the ages, even in whispers. Understanding the importance of language in conveying thoughts, preserving culture, and shaping identity, you step back into the warm embrace of this ancient world, moving ever closer to a shared history written in the universal language of human spirit. Making your way through the vibrant streets of Babylon, you find yourself immersed in the tapestry of colours and textures that define this ancient metropolis. As you stroll past bustling marketplaces and shaded courtyards, one thing becomes abundantly clear. Fashion here is an art form, a testament to both the creativity and practicality of its wearers. The Babylonian fashion is a curious blend of functionality and flair, an opportunity to express oneself amidst the constant demands of survival and societal expectation. As the sun simmers above, you can't help but notice the attire of those around you. Derived predominantly from wool and a bit of flax, the garments are simple yet elegant creations designed to combat the searing heat. Men typically wear long tunics or skirts that afford some vital ventilation, while women drape themselves in long, flowing robes that sway beautifully with each step. A neat trick here, you realize, lies in the many layers worn despite the heat, each one serving as an insulator, keeping the body cool by combating the sear of the sunlight. It's a visceral reminder that fashion in Babylon isn't merely about aesthetics, it's about adaptation. Your New Age sneakers feel slightly out of place amidst the soft shuffle of leather sandals that dash over the uneven cobblestones. Folks here seem to trust their sturdy sandals, crafted with wisdom accumulated from walking these ancient paths long before your arrival. Each slap of leather on stone marks the passage of history in its steady cadence. Jewelry shimmers on many a wrist and neck, catching sunlight as if drawing attention to its wearer's status and fortunes. From intricately carved amulets to semi-precious stones, each piece bears its tale. Copper, gold, and shells embellish the wrists of individuals from varying classes. It seems the concept of adorning oneself with baubles spans across centuries, a testament to the enduring allure of embellishment. Picture this. On one corner of the market, a woman adjusts a diadem, a crown-like headpiece atop her head. Her movements are confident, even regal. Such diadems are the mark of nobility, worn by those connected to the city's administrative heart or rooted deeply in priestly ambitions. And there you are, trying not to gawk at the effortless grace symbolized by this delicate appointment. It's like stepping into a royal ball with your everyday wear, yet the bounds of history make it acceptable. Humor finds its footing amidst the spectacle. Can you imagine trying to don a Babylonian headscarf, only to find your attempts met with hushed giggles from nearby onlookers more accustomed to their deftly practiced knots and drapes? One must navigate these foreign threads with care, learning to wrap oneself in tradition while teasing out one's modern curiosity. Despite the hidden peak jokes that accompany your attempts, there's a warmth here, the kind that welcomes differences with good-hearted jests. Yet it's not all sparkles and convenience. The rigours of dressing in Babylon are underscored by the laborious processes hidden in plain sight. Consider the elaborate telapu hats, a structured headgear worn by some women that require deft fingers and practiced skill to maintain their elaborate forms. The effort to weave intricate tapestries of cloth and embroidery can occupy entire households, each creation demanding dedication while symbolizing societal participation and craftsmanship. Historians still argue whether specific garments served more than just practical purposes, whether some became tangible votive offerings or accompaniments in rituals meant to stitch faith into community. But regardless of origins, Babylonian attire is a blend of wearability and whimsy, encasing its people in vibrant stories spun from their forebearers' looms. As evening creeps closer and the sun offers a gentler glow, you settle into the atmosphere, content to observe the parade of garments that flow past, like an earthy river of textiles. Every corner of the city spreads its colourful quilt of dress patterns, weaving a narrative that mingles past with present, each thread a unique testament to the ingenuity of Babylon's inhabitants. In this living, breathing fashion show of ancient wear, you've glimpsed the timeless human desire to transform sartorial choice into a creative declaration. It's a story as old as civilization itself, one where the language of attire converses across time, whispering secrets sewn in fabric that endure long beyond the making. And so, draped in the vibrant palette of Babylon, you walk on, a silent observer wrapped in the interchange of history and humanity. Venturing deeper into the nuanced world of ancient Babylon, you quickly find that the people around you are as varied and complex as the intricate cuneiform texts that detail their history. As you navigate the bustling streets and crowded markets, it becomes evident that Babylonian society is a structured tapestry of classes, each thread interwoven with the next, yet distinctly patterned. You're standing amidst the lower classes, or the Owilus, where farmers, artisans, and common labourers make up the majority. It's a segment of life defined by hard work and community reliance. The individuals here are skilled in trades that support the city's bustling heartbeat. Imagine the robust scent of baked clay as potters craft vessels near the Euphrates, their hands moving in harmony with the wheel. It's a sight and a symphony of craftsmanship. These artisans' skills are their currency, necessary to trade, for goods they can't produce themselves. But there's a sense of pride here too, a dignity in creation that speaks to humanity's eternal dance with craft and labour. You feel the weight of history in each interaction, every barter an echo of an ancient economy. You glance upward, where you see signs of the privileged or mushkenu, those whose lives are more cushioned by the wealth secured through mercantile prowess or administrative duty. These individuals are engaged in the art of negotiation and commerce, dealing in textiles, grain, or the often luxurious lapis lazuli, sought after throughout the land. For them, life is a joust of wit and network, where success lies in the art of the deal. Looming above them in society's hierarchy are the elite, including the scribes and priests. A nod to the significant power of religion and education. In this era, knowledge is the key to influence, tucking those able to read and write into the upper echelons of Babylonian society. Historians still debate the full extent of literacy, even among this intellectual elite, with evidence suggesting they formed a crucial but limited part of the population, a distinct circle in an evolving wheel. Imagine standing at the base of a towering ziggurat, squinting up at the brickwork that fades into the ever-present sky. This is the dominion of priests, gatekeepers to the gods, who oversee the temple offerings and divine rituals that interlace daily life with the spiritual realm. Their presence asserts a divine order, the assurance that the gods are appeased, thus staving off calamity. Amidst this social structure lies the ever-present undercurrent of the enslaved, individuals captured from neighbouring lands or born into servitude. Their toil underscores the city's relentless drive, shadows in the mosaic of Babylonian life, often overlooked in grand historical narratives. Yet their contribution is undeniable, a testament to the broader human story woven from both triumph and tribulation. Adding a touch of levity to your wanderings, you might overhear the local gossip at a corner market. Perhaps a grandmother in a patterned robe grumbles about her grandson pursuing trade instead of the priesthood. Such musings inevitably highlight the tensions and desires within each class, a reminder that ambition and aspiration knit themselves into society despite era or origin. The humour here is subtle, buried beneath the social norms and weighted customs. Imagine the market jester, spinning tales, drawing laughter as they poke fun at the elite's elaborate coiffures or the merchant's obsession with flawless measures. In a way, it's akin to modern satire, a reminder that every tier of society is subject to gentle scrutiny. As you spend time in the company of Babylon's diverse populace, a profound understanding deepens. Social orders, while vast and imposing, are also fertile grounds for individual stories and personal narratives. Each person you pass is a chapter unto themselves, filled with desires, obligations, and dreams that define their unique place in this vast tableau. As evening fans across the city in cooling waves, you reflect on what you have seen. Babylon's social fabric isn't just a rigid hierarchy, but a living organism that thrived on interaction, interdependence, and adaptation. It's a delicate dance, one that pushes each class to perform its role while allowing the world's complexities to move fluidly within its bounds. Beneath the stars that mirror the ancient dreams and ambitions of its people, Babylon pulses with life, inviting you to delve even deeper into its intricate social weave. As you tread softly, you carry insights gathered in this ancient realm, continuing a timeless conversation that spans centuries and civilizations alike. Amidst the vibrant tapestry of life in Babylon, it becomes increasingly clear that survival in this densely populated, ancient metropolis is not guaranteed. Every step you take, in the shadow of its towering ziggurats, reminds you of the entrenched rules that knit society together, a system that dictates the rhythm and fate of daily life. The laws here, much like the city itself, are intricate, steeped in traditions that stretch back through the annals of time, recorded in sun-baked clay tablets that govern everything from commerce to personal conduct. You're drawn into the orbit of Hammurabi's Code, one of history's most comprehensive legal documents, famous for its principled articulation of justice. It signals the civilization's attempt to impose order on the chaos of human society. These laws are inscribed in ancient Akkadian, a formidable list cast into stone, representing civilization's early efforts to create accountability and fairness, albeit through a rigidly structured lens. But don't be misled into thinking you're in the land of modern jurisprudence. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, is not metaphorical here. It's a literal translation of justice. This brings a new perspective to the saying, urging you to tread carefully through the city, mindful of every interaction. If you, perchance, knock over a merchant's wares, well, you best hope your negotiation skills are as sharp as your wit, lest you incur a penalty measured in silver or service. The humour within the code is subtle, largely unintended, and found in how starkly it differs from modern law. Imagine explaining Babylonian justice to a neighbour who overstates it with exaggerated proclamations of divine curses for minor infractions. A reminder that laws are products of their time, with quirks that time erodes to the archaic edges of history. As you navigate your day, you're struck by the rigid rationale applied to cases of theft. You're in a society where the consequences can be as severe as amputation, designed to make an example and embed a lesson in integrity in the minds of all participants. Sound extreme? Here, the moral balance requires such measures to affirm unity and collective responsibility. Within this ancient framework, historians still argue whether Hammurabi's code was ever fully implemented as written, or served more as a promotional tool to establish the king's legacy as a bringer of justice. In any case, it adds a complex, almost paradoxical layer to the city. A legal system set with both intention and intimidation. The debates over justice aren't limited to the boundary stones and tablets. You'll find them whispered in corners, a perpetual topic weaving the fabric of Babylonian discourse. Merchants in the bazaar contesting a deal, or perhaps the carpenter trying not to overhear his apprentice misplace a tool. Behind silken veils and beneath shaded canopies, justice's conversations ripple through the populace. It's impossible to ignore the shadow of the law looming over the city, woven through daily life from dawn until dusk. Even the architecture reflects it. Stones inscribed with portions of the code are strategically placed within public view, ensuring that no corner of Babylon is free from its watchful presence. Highlighting a curious and quirky tidbit, you might come across a story about a man who tried, perhaps with less wisdom than bravery, to argue his case against an oracle's verdict. His outcome? Shrouded in humour, both ancient and serendipitous, might have drawn curious onlookers, but definitely not sympathy when divine will mirrored the king's decree. You absorb the intricacies of these laws, a reflection on what it means to maintain balance in human society. For each law, a lesson of caution and consequence waits, adding depth to your journey here. You realize that every era writes its own chapter on justice, a living document seen through the eyes of those who enforce it and those who bear its weight. Evening descends, casting a serene hush across the city, softening the stark lines of law into more abstract musings. In this peaceful moment, you reflect on the dual edges of justice and survival in Babylon, the intricate dance between maintaining order and the quite human need to question the rigidity of time-worn rituals. You learn that civilization does indeed rest on the shoulders of these ancient scribes, but also in the quiet rebellion of those who dare to seek change. Amid the ebb and flow of life in ancient Babylon, you find yourself drawn into the pulsating heart of its economy, the bustling marketplace. Here, commerce thrives in a daily dance that feels both unfamiliar and profoundly intuitive. Unlike today's digital transactions and barcode scans, you face a sensory symphony of sound, scent, and texture, each an intrinsic part of the ancient art of bartering. Venturing into this vibrant labyrinth, your senses are immediately inundated by the myriad calls of traders peddling their wares. Merchants shout across stalls, their offerings stacked in tempting arrays, everything from gleaming ceramics to vibrant bolts of wool, fragrant spices from distant lands to handcrafted jewelry that plays with the light. The air is thick with expectation and the scent of exotic goods intermingling with earthy undertones. Bartering, you soon discover, is an art form as ancient as the city itself. There's a rhythm to the negotiations, an improvisational dance where verbal playmates meet halfway, oscillating between jest and earnestness to strike a deal. Your first attempt, perhaps, involves trying to secure a bundle of dates, their sweet aroma wafting enticingly from a nearby stall. The seller eyes you with a knowing glance, ready to negotiate. At this moment, humour finds its place in the ritual, a relic of human nature perfectly intact across the ages. Imagine, as the seller dramatically insists that his dates are the finest in all of Babylon, the banter becomes lilting, tiptoeing around what's considered common knowledge and what's established fact. Your haggling becomes less a transaction and more an age-old performance, resonating through the millennia. You notice that traders often rely on sheer savvy and a keen eye to detect a favourable deal, evaluating the quality and measuring worth with as much skill as intuition. In lieu of currency as you know it, clay tokens, weights of silver, and sheer trust close deals, their inks etched like signatures on an unwritten ledger of mutual agreement. Such trading is more than a means of exchange. It's a pivotal thread in Babylon's social fabric. It serves as a gateway to network, fostering relationships across classes and cultures, imparting wisdom while mimicking an educational theatre. The marketplace stands as an unofficial forum, a testament to the vibrant diversity residing within this ancient civilization. Historians still argue whether Babylon's systems of trade influenced later financial systems, a debate that brings to light the complexity and sophistication of these transactions beyond mere barter. Regardless, Babylon demonstrates an early understanding of value and exchange that laid the groundwork for future economies. In this historic setting, you see visitors from afar, including the robed denizens of the distant Indus Valley, traders from Hazor, huddled groups of curious Egyptians. You discern the influence of the city's cosmopolitan embrace, weaving disparate narratives into a coherent cultural tapestry. An observer at the edge of a transaction might merely nod knowingly, aware of this dance of diplomacy that underpins the everyday barter. Let's explore a quirky tidbit. Imagine trying to acquire a Babylonian-style tunic, only to find yourself in an animated negotiation with a merchant who insists on measuring it against the width of his arm. A technique as endearingly amusing as it is bizarre. A reminder that perception of value is as old as time. The afternoon shadows grow longer as Babylon's market begins its gradual descent into slumber. Still, the current of transaction lingers, inviting the hum of social interaction to persist beneath the surface, as traders pack up their stalls with the accompaniment of satisfied murmurs and spirited laughter. With the day winding down, you step back to take in the market's breadth. A microcosm of Babylon's economy where commerce and community are inextricably intertwined. Each barter, every deal closed, infuses a lively cadence into the beats of the city, writing a story of enduring human enterprise and social connectivity. As twilight gently embraces the bustling scene, it invites a softer light on the marketplace, soothing the day's intensity with its restful glow. Reflecting on this experience, you understand that through the intricate dance of barter, woven in threads of humor and shared history, Babylon's marketplace becomes more than a trading post. It breathes the same air as the lives it sustains, cementing itself as both the city's heart and its soul. As you continue your journey through the vibrant streets of ancient Babylon, you can't help but notice that a city's heartbeat pulses as much in its culinary delights as it does in its towering ziggurats and bustling markets. The diverse aromas mingling in the air create an enticing tapestry of scents that beckons you toward an ancient feast. Here, within the culture's culinary offerings, you find the potency of Babylonian survival and social gatherings, typically centered around food. Meandering through the marketplace, you're drawn to mounds of barley, a staple grain that dominates Babylon's diet. It's coarse yet versatile, a culinary canvas on which the city's chefs paint their daily struggles and triumphs. Barley forms the base of nearly every meal, from humble porridge to the hearty bread that accompanies every Babylonia's supper table. As you edge closer to a bubbling cauldron stationed at a street vendor's stall, the rich, earthy scent of lentil stew draws you in like a gastronomic siren. A staple in Babylonian homes, the stew takes on a life of its own, the root vegetables and spices commingling into a nourishing embrace. The vendor hands you a wooden bowl, offering you a taste. You find simplicity transformed into sustenance. It's a comfort as ageless as laughter and friendship, warm and filling. Historians still argue whether clay ovens or tandoor-like structures widespread in Babylon were central to everyday cooking or reserved for communal gatherings. Regardless, both utilitarian and celebratory meals emerge from these heat-filled hearths, adding warmth to every corner of the city. Your curiosity leads you further into hooded spaces and shaded doorways, where an intoxicatingly sweet aroma captivates your senses. This is the realm of date wine, a fermented offering steeped in tradition and time. It's a celebrated beverage here, an elixir transcending the boundaries of social class. As you partake, you sense the fruity notes of the wine, both bright and mellow, inviting hearty camaraderie among the gathering throng. This is no simple libation. It's a celebration of Babylon's resourcefulness, a toast shared to the city and its people at day's end. Humor finds its place in the rich tapestry of Babylonian dining. Imagine attempting to bake a Babylonian flatbread, only to realize that ancient recipes can be as vague as a cloud, yet unmistakably require precision. Picture the bread not rising, your efforts scrutinized under the watchful eyes of chuckling neighbors. It's an ancient form of culinary trial and good-natured ribbing, one that entangles you in its doughy grip. For a quirky tidbit, observe the small fish being prepared beside the river, dried in the sun, or pressed into bite-sized nuggets. A portable ration for those traversing long distances. This prelude to jerky or fish crisps forms a curious interlude and an ingenious way to preserve flavour. Don't worry about it walking off, though, unless you dare to follow the delightful smell to chase after a rogue cat. You'll find that food in Babylon isn't strictly sustenance, it's an emblem of togetherness. Families gather to share meals, their tables offering more than just nourishment. A place where stories are swapped as cheerfully as servings, weaving together tales and taste in a delicious mixture of history and humanity. Participating in a Babylonian feast, perhaps sharing a potluck within the shade of a courtyard's trees, offers a hearty slice of Babylonian life. Every dish is born from practicality and shaped by communal ties. The laughter is infectious, a universal language spoken fluently through clinking bowls and shared bites. As stars begin to blanket the Babylonian sky, the feast concludes, leaving both body and mind fulfilled. The day's end is a gentle reminder of the symbiosis between man and sustenance, an ever-timely exchange that fosters both survival and joy. The rhythmic cadence of culinary life in Babylon leaves behind a resounding echo, a celebration as robust as it is enduring, inviting you to partake in the ongoing feast that has nourished humans across time and space. From barley fields to underground cellars, the city discloses its cherished secret of how food nurtures one's spirit as much as it feeds one's body, writing a delicious prologue to Babylon's unfolding mystery. As your journey through the storied streets of Babylon unfolds, you become more attuned to the unseen yet palpable forces that seem to guide the city's heartbeat, the ancient arts of divination and prophecy. Here in this ancient metropolis, these practices are woven deeply into the fabric of everyday life. Whether buying goods at the market or embarking on a new venture, the Babylonians seek the wisdom of their priests and prophets, those intermediaries between the earthly realm and the divine. The air is thick with ardent belief, the scent of incense hanging heavily as you approach a sacred temple precinct. The tantalizing smoke curls through the open-air courtyards and stately columns, whispering secrets to the sky. These are the places where divination holds sway, and the priests, clad in long robes adorned with sacred symbols, perform their rituals with practiced dexterity. In their hands, they hold the ability to decipher the gods' messages, a mosaic of signs ranging from entrails to celestial patterns. You come across a priest poised over a liver from a freshly sacrificed animal, examining its texture and blemishes with rapt attention. This practice, known as haruspicy, was considered a potent tool for discerning the will of the gods. The liver serves as a divine map, its every curve and ridge holding potential insight into matters of state, weather predictions or personal affairs. It's an ancient version of reading tea leaves, but with far heftier stakes. Standing back, observing from a respectful distance, you're struck by the solemnity of the audience gathered to witness these rituals. Some individuals appear hopeful, seeking counsel on trade ventures or the health of loved ones, while others carry the quiet desperation of those faced with pivotal decisions. Historians still argue about the extent to which these predictions influenced actual policy decisions or daily practices, but the social power wielded by these oracles is unmistakable. Not all divinatory practices involve such visceral rites. Astrology, too, holds an esteemed position in Babylonian society. Here, the sky is viewed not just as a tapestry of twinkling lights, but as a dynamic narrative, a celestial ledger of divine intentions. By charting the stars' movements, priests claim to reveal the unfolding fate of individuals and nations alike. You can almost imagine an ancient Babylonian stargazer, robed in the cool night air, marking the heavens with a serene knowingness that carries echoes into modern times. Pausing under a starry canopy, you ponder the parallels of ancient and modern belief systems. While no Babylonian app will tell you how to read celestial charts, the urge to find meaning in the endless expanse above is universal. This continuity of curiosity transcends millennia, bewitching generations with the promise of insight and guidance. For a light-hearted moment in this observance, picture commanding a modern Pinocchio-like oracle doll of Mesopotamian craft, whose wooden visage might spout cryptic predictions reminiscent of a worn, suspicious magic marquee. Its witty retorts, unaware of anachronistic flares, invite grins and chuckles even as you start reflecting on the weight of oracle inquiries with newfound respect. In an unexpected turn, you learn of prophecies declared long ago, mystical kitchen table tales speaking of floating cities and horseless chariots that travel the roads. While whimsical to modern ears, this blend of prophetic imagination and surrealistic vision offers a reminder. Our ancestors dreamed of things beyond their time, much as we do today. As night deepens its embrace, the city quiets, leaving only the periodic flutter of evening roof tiles falling from the temples, signaling another divine warning to those who listen. Ancient Babylon brims with mystery, vibrant spirituality, and ages-old wisdom preserved in secret, beckoning seekers to uncover what lies hidden within each cryptic clue. With a heart full of understanding, sharpened by this exploration of ancient divination, you find yourself reflective, appreciating the human pursuit of certainty amidst life's uncertainties. Babylon becomes not just an ancient city but a temporal bridge, a place where, through the mists of time, we share the same questions, seeking celestial clarity and terrestrial wisdom in the quiet corners of this graceful ruin. In the dynamic realm of ancient Babylon, the city's fame stretches far and wide, yet it's crucial to remember that this burgeoning hub exists within a greater tapestry of interaction and influence. As you walk through its bustling streets, the sounds and sights merge with whispers from beyond the city walls. Speaking of nomadic tribes whose interactions with the city define much of Babylonian life. To comprehend Babylon's significance, you must embrace its neighbours, the wandering tribes and varied cultures that shape and challenge its existence. The deserts and plains unfold like endless seas around the city, and it is upon these arid horizons that nomadic tribes traverse, their lives a blend of endurance and adaptation, as fluid and ephemeral as the sands beneath their feet. These tribes, ranging from the Amorites to the Arameans, typify a mobile lifestyle reflecting resourcefulness rather than rootedness. For the Babylonians, these wanderers are both a source of inspiration and occasional conflict. The tribes bring with them a blend of trade goods, tales, and traditions that influence Babylonian culture like a river's current, gently reshaping the banks in its path. As you stand at the city's edge, your gaze brushes the horizons where the nomads delve into their journeys. These tribes traverse the land with herds of sheep and goats, measuring time by the stars and seasons rather than the clamour of city clocks. Imagine their tents dotting the landscape like ephemeral blossoms, vibrant in their simplicity, yet as intricate as the shadows they cast against the morning sun. In one tent, you encounter a solemn exchange. Woven textiles, the gleam of bronze tools exchanged for bundles of Babylonian barley or finely crafted pottery. Here, borderland exchanges possess a nuance that echoes modern diplomacy, handled with care lest an unintended slight disrupt the delicate balance of trade and goodwill. Humour finds its roots in these interactions as well, perhaps in the form of light-hearted challenges to a tribe's latest hunting achievement, or as playful exaggerations about Babylonian culinary experiments gone awry. An age-old banter echoing across time. Trust rests on well-placed humour, a universal balm knitting disparate cultures in this formidable landscape. For a quirky tidbit, nomadic life brings innovations, from practical transfers to poetic almanacs of their journeys. Picture a wayward herder scribbling songs in the sand, verses that speak of windswept trails and lonely campfires but vanish by dawn's light. A testament to impermanent yet unforgettable journeys. The balanced dance between Babylon and its transient neighbours is framed by alliances and fierce skirmishes alike, each a page in a shared history, penned on clay and recited in whispers. These interactions wield the dual capability of enriching city life, while acknowledging the often precarious tension running like a taut string through this ancient dance. Historians still argue the depth of such influences, be it the vibrancy infused into Babylonian art, or the subtle sway this nomadic entanglement held over Babylon's statecraft and defense strategies. Each theory casts parallels to today's world, where neighboring cultures leave indelible imprints on one another in this unending exchange of ideas and essences. As you ponder these encounters, you gain an understanding of how the ever-shifting caravan routes and alliances shape Babylon's social, economic, and cultural landscapes, harbouring the city's future within their cyclical embrace. The interplay between Babylon's fortified walls and the open horizons where desert wanderers roam tells a tale as old as civilization itself, a narrative wrapped around collaboration and contention, woven into the backdrop that defines this ancient city's place in history. When the sun dips beneath the horizon and the dusk enfolds Babylon in a shroud of silence, you pause to absorb the rhythmic harmony between city and tribe, a testament to endurance and evolution that transcends time and geography. In these whispered moments, you sense the continuity of their journey, a shared odyssey tracing trails beyond the stars' reach, an eternal pilgrimage linking past to present and every land and city in between. As you delve deeper into the heart of ancient Babylon, the undeniable influence of learning and literacy reveals itself in the form of the society's revered scribes and scholars. This elite group holds the keys to knowledge, shaping the city's destiny with every stroke etched onto clay. These men, and occasionally women, are the guardians of wisdom and tradition, creating a tapestry of records and stories that outlines the ebb and flow of Babylonian life. You find yourself approaching a scribal school, a modest structure abuzz with the quiet hum of concentration. Within, young apprentices sit cross-legged, their brows furrowed in thought as they diligently learn to manipulate the reed stylus, transforming malleable clay tablets into vessels of communication and history. The soft scratching of styluses fills the air, an ancient symphony conducted by the rhythm of learning. The instruction here is not for the faint-hearted. Learning to read and write cuneiform requires years of study and practice, akin to decrypting an intricate code. Each wedge-shaped mark holds power, and the scribe, as the executor of this power, becomes both historian and oracle. He is a transmitter of culture and economics, tracking mercantile transactions, celestial events, and the proclamations of kings. Being a scribe is more than a profession. It's a calling, a path paved with dedication and sacrifice. These scholars hold a status akin to modern-day coders or data analysts, tasked with charting not just words, but futures. Their work is revered throughout Babylon, sometimes bridging across societal divides to connect peoples and professions, businesses and beliefs. Modern humour finds its way through this ancient world. Picture an apprentice scribe at the brink of a word's conclusion, only to discover his mistake upon the final stroke. His groan echoes across the schoolroom as fellow scholars' stifled giggles ripple gently, a timeless lesson that even in ancient learning, the power of trial and error remains ever constant. Historians still debate whether most scribes truly found influence outside their educational expertise, or if they remained cloistered in scholarly seclusion. What is evident, however, is their profound impact on Babylonian society. They are the record keepers, the chroniclers of their age. Entire epics and treaties live on in tablets that span the centuries, transporting their narratives to future generations. An exploration of a more obscure tidbit takes you into the field of Babylonian mathematics, where scribal proficiency reaches intellectual pinnacles. The scribe's intuitive mastery of number systems and the famed Babylonian base 60 numeral scheme offers a glimpse into the brilliance of early computational thought. Imagine them calculating square roots or pondering the mysteries of eclipses with tools as simple and elegant as baked clay. Proof of human potential in even the most rudimentary of settings. As you stand amid the soft whispers of learning, you appreciate the influence these scribes hold. Through their collaborations with astronomers and builders, these scholars serve as the bedrock for advancements in architecture, agriculture, and statecraft, fast-reaching effects that ripple through time. Evening falls outside the scribal school, and those once huddled over clay tablets share quiet companionship beneath the evening stars. The conversation here carries the universal understanding of human connection through learning, the intangible thread that binds civilizations together across eons, with both continuity and discovery. As darkness drapes its velvet cloak over the city, you are left with a profound sense of the enduring power of knowledge. A beacon illuminating both ancient and modern worlds, regardless of era or form. You carry with you the understanding that within the city of Babylon, the wisdom etched into its tablets will reverberate long after the clay has crumbled. The scholarly echoes of its history, both grand and humble, mark an indelible passage of time, one which you find has forever shifted your view of learning and its place in our shared human saga. Enveloped by the sprawling expanse of ancient Babylon, your gaze is irresistibly drawn to the towering marvels of ziggurats and the legendary hanging gardens, if indeed they existed. Within this hub of human innovation and spirituality, Babylon's architectural feats serve as monumental odes to the ingenuity and ambitions of its builders. At the heart of these achievements is the ziggurat, a stepped temple pyramid rising proudly to kiss the heavens. As you approach its base, you can't help but feel like an insignificant speck before the towering monolith, its bricks reflecting the sun in a golden sheen. The ziggurat is designed as a spiritual escalator, bringing priests closer to their gods, its distinct levels denoting phases in the heavenly hierarchy, each step a closer step towards the divine. It's easy to see why these structures dominate the Babylonian skyline, their sheer presence a tangible manifestation of devotion and power. Built to weather the ages, these ziggurats are engineering marvels, crafted with precision and intent, aligning with the stars and interweaving human life with the cosmic dance above. Historians still debate the specific rituals that might have occurred atop these grand edifices, speculating whether they were places of sacrifice or silent, contemplative communion with deities. What is undeniable is the aura of mystery they imbue, syllabic echoes receded over centuries, still hinting at these sacred ceremonies. As you wander further, an unexpected burst of vibrancy and unexpected greenery catches your eye. Could this be the fabled Hanging Gardens of Babylon? Although many argue its legendary status remains just that, the mere idea of such an Eden amidst the dusty landscape paints a picture ripe with intrigue. Imagine grand terraces filled with blooming flora sourced from across the known world. Every flower and fruit tree cascading downward, weaving a verdant tapestry vibrant and lush. It's a tantalizing haven, allegedly commissioned as a love token by Nebuchadnezzar II for his queen, who longed for the green hills of her homeland. While evidence of its existence eludes historians, the gardens remain one of the most evocative images of Babylon's legacy. With humour in hand, you allow yourself a whimsical thought. If drone flying had been possible, the gardeners might have hovered above, ensuring every vine and blossom in this hanging oasis received water. The imagined scene of cascading, trailing miniature aqueducts maintaining their delicate botanicals prompts a smile. Yet Babylon's architectural feats are not limited to religious and mythical splendour. The practical complexity of canal networks sustains the city, nourishing both its people and its fertile fields. Here, the designs for agriculture. The art of irrigation turn the arid earth into a verdant palette. Historically, this intricate system of channels controls water drawn from the Euphrates, directing life-giving streams to sustain the greatest city of its age. In a quirky tidbit, imagine a day where the city's children would race along the canal banks, commandeering sticks to conduct their imaginary aquatic fleets. An endearing blend of whimsy amidst the engineered genius supporting Babylon. As twilight settles, the ziggurats cast elongated shadows that stretch like ancient poetry across the city's labyrinthine streets. Each pillar, stone and terrace speaks a language of human achievement echoing through generations. These structures, a timeless testament to creativity, transcend the limitations of their era, continuing to inspire awe. Reflect gently on this harmony between practicality and beauty as you witness the skyline slowly embracing the dimming light. In a world defined by clay and stone, it is a reminder that through architecture, the Babylonians were architects not only of grand structures, but of dreams as well. As you pause, their legacy remains a silent partner, a whispering testament to the enduring intersection of art, faith, and civilization. As moonscape light dips into the city, you drink deeply from Babylon's architectural cup. A reminder that in every brick laid, every garden imagined, and every ziggurat climbed, there lies a shared aspiration, an eternal construction of hope and connection. A ladder linking earthbound dreams to celestial homes. As your steps echo through the avenues of ancient Babylon, you become attuned to the narrative of power and its ever-shifting nature within the city's storied walls. Here, amid the architectural wonders and bustling marketplaces, lies a tale as old as ambition itself. the struggle for control over one of the most illustrious centers of the ancient world. Babylon's throne room has witnessed countless figures rise to prominence, each one entwined in a complex dance of strategy, ambition, and intrigue. Picture yourself in the clamor of the royal court, where whispers flutter like leaves in the wind and every move is calculated. The city's corridors of power echo with the political machinations of those vying for influence. Princes crafting alliances, advisors plotting schemes, and ambitious generals contemplating bold maneuvers. At the heart of Babylon's political life is the king, an embodiment of divine mandate, responsible for the prosperity and protection of the realm. But Babylon's kingship was far from absolute security. Uprisings and coups were almost as common as floods of the nearby rivers. The throne was a precarious perch, often subject to the whims of fortune and the sharp edges of palace intrigue. Historians still argue whether certain rulers were as effective as legend portrayed them, or if the chroniclers with styluses sharpened embroidered achievements to craft tales more fitting for the ages. What remains clear is the charisma needed to secure favour in Babylon's turbulent court, a place where loyalty sways like the branches of a tree in a storm. Amid the intrigue, humour finds its sly footing. Imagine courtiers exchanging knowing glances as they surreptitiously mock the exaggerated protocol. A nudge at the pomposities observed at nauseam, an ironic tip of the hat to the human penchant for ceremony creates a shared understanding amidst the court's ornate movements. Yet beneath the hustle of politics lies the ballast of military might. Babylon's armies are not merely for ceremonial display, but are vital instruments through which kings exert influence and maintain order, both within and beyond the city's borders. From the defensive might of its walls to the soldiers patrolling its perimeters, the city's military presence projects a majesty that mirrors the regality of its rulers. For added texture, imagine attending the assembly of troops, their ranks reflecting the diversity of Babylon. Soldiers from neighbouring regions who have pledged their loyalty. Their sharp spears glint in the sunlight, an unspoken deterrent to those considering the riches Babylon holds. Quirkily, think of curious innovations brought back by returning soldiers. Bizarre enough to resemble spoils from distant lands when shown for the first time in bustling taverns. A horned beast's head here, a peculiar fable there. Such stories became as much a part of Babylon's lore as the battles won, extending the reach of the city's cultural influence. As you weave through the city's intricately patterned passageways, the political chessboard remains perpetually set. The plots hatched within cool, shadowed chambers, and heated exchanges in council rooms are writ large in Babylon's annals, stretching across generations like threads spun on an eternal loom. You begin to appreciate that in Babylon the mantle of leadership is never truly worn alone. The king is supported by layers of governance that form a sprawling web: the court, the scribes, the military advisors, all contributing to the shifting game of strategy and survival. As dusk drapes its twilight over the city, a nuanced impression of Babylon's political realm emerges. Not merely of a static throne, but an ongoing narrative of power's ebb and flow. It becomes apparent that in this ancient city the ascendance and decline of rulers cascade like the erratic tides, moving in eternal currents that define both the city's past and the echoes of its legacy. Here, past the shadows of the court and into the ages, you understand that leadership in Babylon was a lens into the broader human experience of ambition and intrigue, a reflection that still resonates today, where the quest for power navigates the same theatre stage, changing only its actors, clinging steadfastly to the drama of human endeavour. Gaze upward as the stars brighten their vigil over Babylon, each constellation a witness to stories etched against the night, stories of rulers who have come, dreamt, fought, and ultimately passed, their narratives immortalized within the eternal scroll of time. As you navigate the labyrinthine streets of ancient Babylon, your steps gradually guide you to the city's spiritual heart, a network of majestic temples, resounding with echoes of ancient devotion. Among these revered sites, the mighty Esagila temple stands out, a beacon of faith dedicated to Marduk, Babylon's chief deity. It is here, within sacred spaces filled with incense and whispered prayers, that you encounter the spiritual core shaping every facet of Babylonian life. Approaching the temple, you're struck by its imposing grandeur. Towering columns rise above you, and intricately carved reliefs narrate tales of divine heroics and mythic battles. The air is thick with the fragrance of incense, wafting in fragrant tendrils amidst a soft chanting rustle. Babylon's temples are not just places of worship, but centres of community and culture, where life is intimately intertwined with spirituality. Passing beneath the archway, you enter a bustling courtyard alive with religious fervour. Here, priests dressed in ceremonial robes undertake rites that date back centuries. From offering sacrifices to officiating sacred ceremonies, these priests are the mediators between mortal and divine. Their rituals are precise, their invocations sacred hymns that have woven time and tradition into their ever-present chant. Historians still ponder the exact parameters of these rites, conceding to the constraints of translation but piecing together narratives of prayers once imbued with exquisite recitals. Scripts preserved in clay tablets meant to elevate human spirit toward the celestial realm. The humour peaks somewhat unexpectedly into this solemnity. Consider the scenario of a rabbit interrupting a sacred procession. A moment met with equal parts laughter and respectful camaraderie as the temple attendees attempt to shepherd the furred intruder back to more mundane pastures. Ancient gods, perhaps, would be amused at this interlude in solemnity, a stark reminder of life's unpredictable rhythms, even within revered spaces. Beyond the grandeur of the Asagla stands a less renowned but equally important segment of Babylon's spiritual geography. The humble shrines dedicated to a pantheon of gods worshipped by the city's diverse constituencies. Here you encounter harimtu, impromptu gatherings, or street-side offerings to deities of lesser renown, yet vital in everyday Babylonian life. The capacity for humour endures, even among idol worship. Festival laughter accompanies the incantations, with perhaps a tongue-in-cheek prayer for a better harvest, or stumbling over language trying to remember the precise script for a lesser-known deity. Divine favour, after all, is best won through a mixture of reverence, tradition, and occasional jesting. Your journey leads you deeper into the spiritual narrative as you encounter the role of astrology in Babylon's religious beliefs. With an eye firmly on the heavens, Babylonian astrologers pen interpretations of the stars to foretell events. A responsibility as weighty as anointing kings or predicting harvests. Their charts act as divine compass points, reflecting a belief that cosmic movements underscore daily life. In a quirky tidbit, imagine a temple astrologer gazing skyward with an oversized astrological map, paper flapping in desert breezes as celestial bodies align to output the night's forecast. At times, rivaling modern meteorologists, with hilariously observed discrepancies in forecasting. As the evening deepens and stars begin to pierce the indigo sky, you feel drawn to the temple's rooftop gardens, strata of blossoming greenery blending into the cityscape like a verdant crown above sacred eaves. Here, the line between earth and divine thins, a garden sanctuary blossoming amidst deific resonance. The city's dusk draws the temple courtyard into a subtle embrace, the serene magic of twilight casting quiet peace over the gathered faithful. Among them, you find resonance, the humbling realization that the human pursuit of spirituality, rooted in wonder and reverence, universally connects us through centuries and civilizations. In this space woven with belief and tradition, you witness Babylon's quest to forge a link from the earthly to the divine, expressing humanity's eternal longing for understanding, guidance, and comfort in the boundless mystery of existence. Your steps echo through temple grounds, a testament to a timeless spiritual yearning that resonates beyond distant clay shrubs, unfurling in ripples of faith across history's hallowed hall, the eternal rhythm beneath Babylon's spirit-infused breath. In the winding alleys and bustling quarters of ancient Babylon, health and healing form intricate threads woven into the tapestry of daily life. As you traverse these vibrant streets, it becomes evident that the pursuit of wellness here combines a fascinating blend of spirituality, observation, and early science, a precursor to modern medicine laced with the enigmatic touch of divine intervention. You find yourself at the threshold of a modest but busy apothecary, where herbs and remedies occupy every shelf and corner. The air is filled with aromatic fragrances, sage, thyme, and other exotic blends that settle in your senses like an ancient melody. Healers, both men and women, bustle about, each creating concoctions designed to cure ailments, ranging from the common cold to more mysterious maladies. In Babylon, medicine is a practice steeped in dualities. Faith and empiricism mingle inextricably amidst the heartbeats of its practitioners. Babylonian doctors, known as Asu, use their knowledge of herbs to treat patients. Their practice is infused with generations of learned expertise. Asu often work alongside the Asipu, who are more akin to spiritual healers and exorcists, engaging in rituals and incantations to drive away malevolent spirits thought to be behind illnesses. The juxtaposition of these roles leads to curious scenarios. A healer chanting incantations while his colleague applies a poultice to infected skin. A subtle tug-of-war between spiritual succor and tactile treatment. Despite the difference in focus, both are respected. Both are needed. And both traverse the same winding path towards healing's elusive embrace. Historians still argue whether Babylon's medicinal practices considerably influenced new scientific approach, or leaned heavier on mysticism to create a complex yet effective healthcare system by ancient standards. What is certain is that Babylonian healers were wont to implore both the earthly and the divine to treat their patients' needs. Amid this bustling laboratory of ancient medicine, a comedic note emerges. Imagine a pomegranate rolling off the table, prompting a healer to declare it a sign from Shamash, god of health and justice. Perhaps it's time for a holiday? Laughter ensues, an acknowledgement of misfortune's whimsical nature and group wisdom's enduring role in making light of it. The broader Babylonian medical manual emerges as a mosaic of intricate techniques and home remedies preserved in clay tablets. However rudimentary they may seem through a modern lens, these instructions provide intriguing insights into bind-the-wound wisdom and intuitive prescriptions for specific ailments. A particularly quirky tidbit involves a priest-healer tasked with monitoring the city's sanitation practices, with surprising effectiveness, signaling an ancient rendition of public health management. Just imagine the priest, part inspector of wells and part sneaker of drains, combating disease by ensuring aqueducts remain free of detritus. A testament to an early understanding of hygiene's critical role. As you journey further into the realm of Babylonian healing, you grow sensitive to how interlinked it is with spirituality, a dance of rituals and reality wherein every remedy and recitation ultimately seeks the same goal, harmony within body and spirit. It's a journey that leads you towards the temple precincts, where the art of healing finds its roots intertwined with faith. Beneath the vaulted skies, as night falls, the subtle glow of oil lamps illuminates the scene, casting an ethereal aura over the streets. Here, the practice of healing becomes not merely transactional, but transcendental, a notion stretching across time, anchored in humanity's steadfast search for health and peace. Through this intimate convergence of tradition, belief, and burgeoning science, you realize that Babylon's legacy extends beyond temples and towers. The quiet persistence of healers and their whispered incantations tell a story of shared understanding, transcending the ages to remind us of the vital thread between health and harmony. A timeless plea reaching through the darkness with tender hands, poised to soothe the eternal aches of existence. As the hum of daytime activities in ancient Babylon gradually subsides, the city slowly transitions under the cooling embrace of night. The air becomes pleasantly tempered as the sun dips below the horizon, casting long shadows that stretch across the sun-baked bricks and cobblestones. You find yourself drawn to this nocturnal serenity, where the city reveals a quieter, more introspective side that invites both rest and reflection. Walking through the winding streets, you notice how the soft murmur of voices blends with the gentle clattering of dinnerware, emanating from homes where families gather for evening meals. The aroma of stews and freshly baked bread lingers in the twilight, a comforting reminder of the continuity of life, a fragrant tapestry that lulls the city into a collective exhale. As you wander, your path leads you to one of the lush courtyards nestled amid Babylon's bustling quarters. These oases, rich with greenery and lit by the flicker of oil lamps, are havens of tranquility that provide solace from the day's intensity. Here you find a small group of neighbours sharing laughter and stories under the shimmering tapestry of stars, their voices weaving a gentle harmony with the evening's embrace. Your senses are attuned to the symphony of the night, the soft rustle of palm fronds as they sway with the breeze, the distant melody of a flute carried on the wind, and the occasional call of a night owl hidden in the eaves. Even the rooftops, silhouetted against the moonlit sky, seem to echo the softness of the hour, a stark contrast to the daytime's hustle. Perhaps it's this tranquility that offers the perfect backdrop for storytelling, giving life to tales woven with humour and history, spun beneath the celestial constellation stories that have guided travellers and dreamers for centuries. In this space, a well-timed quip elicits shared laughter, jokes about the day's antics or light-hearted jests about their friends' culinary prowess. The intimate nature of these exchanges renders them all the more precious, a balm for the soul. Before long, the sound of warm laughter mingles with the delicate notes of a lyre, someone plucking its strings with practiced fingers, sending lilting melodies into the night. These are moments of introspection and joy, where music becomes the language that unites, transcending words, a serene conduit linking past to present. You pause to absorb the deeper layers of Babylon's nocturnal charm. In the quietude, one can ponder the mysteries and uncertainties that the daylight obscures, finding solace in the stories shared like gentle whispers among the stars. Here, discussions take on a reflective tone, touching on the vastness of human experience and the shared dreams that connect us across generations. A peculiar but charming tidbit comes to mind as you gaze at the sky overhead. Historians still argue over the Babylonians' astrology, their sky charts purporting to foretell not just seasonal changes but auspicious days and ominous omens. Imagine them observing the periodic thud of prowling wolves on the city's periphery, their silhouettes captured against a canvas of stars, symbols not only of wilderness but as living metaphors for the night's unknown wonders. As the evening progresses, the city's sensory landscape shifts once more. The distant clang of a temple gong marks the passing hour, prompting a gentle exodus back to the shelter of homes. Night watchmen, torches in hand, patrol the dim passageways, their rhythmic footfalls providing a reassuring cadence to accompany the descent into sleep. With the night deepening, the pulse of Babylon softens to a gentle hum. The city, alive with whispers of the past and dreams for the future, wraps its moonlit arms around you. As you prepare to rest, lulled by the cool breath of night, you find a profound sense of peace in this ancient city's timeless rhythm, a rhythm effortlessly echoing the haven it provides through the ages. Drawn by the gravity of history and guided by the light of eons, your journey through Babylon's nocturnal narrative closes with a calm whisper. The lullaby of the ancient city cradles your spirit, serving as a poignant reminder that even amidst the parallels of old and new, the quiet revelry of shared humanity resonates beneath every star and every era's shimmering hues. As dawn breaks over the storied landscape of Babylon, the city stirs to life once more. With each sunlit moment, the intertwined legacy of innovation and conquest becomes increasingly evident. Babylon's brilliance, you realize, is further illuminated by its relationship with a vital and often underestimated structure. Its network of canals and waterways. These winding channels, much more than simple architectural feats, serve as the lifelines of the city, facilitating both prosperity and defense. The meticulous design of Babylonian canals speaks volumes about the ingenuity of its engineers. You wander along these man-made rivers, marveling at the blend of practical genius and careful calculation that breathes life into the arid soil. Stepping stones and bridges dot the landscape, creating intricate pathways that weave the city together. It's a dance of water and land, carefully choreographed to nourish fields and foster trade. Such irrigation systems are the backbone of Babylonian agriculture, gestating on verdant fields of barley and emmer wheat, crops that make up the city's dietary fabric. The convergence of these canal lines, some broad enough for barges laden with goods and grains, ensures that Babylon remains sustenance-rich, a cornucopia amidst the surrounding plains. Historians still argue whether Babylon's canal systems were solely the work of indigenous knowledge or if inspiration flowed in from neighbouring civilizations, a debate in itself a tribute to the complexity and precocity of these ancient feats. A city of rivers, born from the necessity, carved out of ingenuity. Navigating these channels, your eye catches a boatman manoeuvring his skiff, long oars propelling him effortlessly through the narrow slipstreams. You find humour in the boatman's adeptness, an unsung poet in balance recounting sundry anecdotes, perhaps involving a hapless traveller or tales of fish leaping unceremoniously into cradled baskets. Beside the canals, life thrums with fragrance and fervour. Children's laughter mingles with the occasional squawk of a startled crane taking flight. Nearby, Babylonian women gather at water's edge, washing clothes and exchanging gossip, a gentle reminder that these waters are pathways of commerce and communication, the channels ferrying stories and secrets as well as trade. The role of the canal reaches further still, incorporated into the city's defensive manoeuvres. You marvel at the vigilance employed to control these waterways during times of conflict, floodgates that can contain both friend and foe. In the shadow of Babylon's walls, it becomes evident that its strategic use of canals has been integral to maintaining a position of strength, deterring would-be conquerors with the swiftness of its watery blade. For a whimsical twist, envision a Babylonian engineer poring over a map deep into the night, devising a scheme to channel fresh fish directly into city markets, yet inadvertently flooding a tavern instead. The spirited patrons therein finding impromptu amusement, the engineer caught marvelling at the aquatic confluence, a testament to human adaptability and cheer. The sun climbs higher, casting light upon the industrious beehive that Babylon becomes in daylight. The heartbeat of commerce unfurls along these waterways, shaping daily rhythms and destinies. The ships laid bare against the blazing backdrop, sails unfurled like wings poised to catch the breeze, carrying not only goods, but the weight of anticipation between ports of call. As you survey these ancient channels, you realize that Babylon's canals symbolize more than mere watercourses. They represent a testament to initiative, an immortal reminder of how ingenuity and adaptation can sculpt survival from scarcity. The day unfurls with its full spectrum, light glistening upon swirling waters, reinforcing Babylon's everlasting ode to civilization's symbiosis with nature. You discern the resounding truth that through these ancient conduits, Babylon's voice speaks with the authority of time. Life-giving, life-sustaining, life-defining. With dusk approaching, the canals reflect the sun's final kisses, turning shimmering ripples into threads of gold. The city slows its fevered pace once more, and with measured breath, embraces the continuity carried by these timeless waters, bridging past to present with narratives as enduring as the sky's first stars. In Babylon's waters, you find palpable the promise of perpetual innovation and eternal perseverance, forever flowing like the memory of these life-giving rivers merging with the seas of time. The tales they whisper echo beyond ages, a final serenade as the legacy of this great city stretches and weaves its course, both immortal and serene. As you roam the ancient streets of Babylon, you begin to appreciate that alongside its celebrated innovation and grandeur lies an aspect that might make any modern visitor shudder: the state of personal hygiene and sanitation. In a city steeped in tradition, bathing and cleanliness weave through the social and spiritual fabric, though through a lens that might surprise contemporary sensibilities. You find yourself drawn to the public bathhouses, bustling hives of activity and community life. These communal spaces are vital to Babylonian hygiene practices, offering a refuge from the dust and heat. Here citizens gather not only for cleansing but for socializing, well aware that cleanliness is not solely next to godliness, but deeply intertwined with one's social standing. The bathhouses, equipped with large basins and shimmering pools, echo with laughter and conversation mixed with the gentle splash of water. Warmed stones release soothing steam, creating an oasis amidst the sun-baked streets. As you observe, you're privy to an ancient ritual, a methodical routine of washing away the day's grime, anointing skin with oils and combing scented ointments through their hair. Water carriers move with practiced efficiency, their sturdy pitchers sloshing and clinking with every step. You note the intricate dance as attendants shift from task to task, ensuring that both water supply and cleansing aroma remain abundant. The central role these bathhouses play in daily life reminds you of a curious fact. Storms above the Euphrates bring forth spring floods, renewing water sources even as they test public infrastructure. Though more modest than the elaborate Roman counterparts, Babylon's bathhouses embrace a certain charm, bound in their blend of function and fellowship. Yet humour finds its niche here, as you imagine Babylonian youth comparing fashion essentials the latest clay-scented hair pomade, or the saffron-infused soap leaving bodies redolent with a glow rivaling Marduk's own temple murals. As twilight falls, your wanderings lead you to quieter lanes, where merchants and labourers return to their homes, each intersection whispering stories of everyday hygiene woven into the fabric of civilization. Personal grooming, while essential, is also an opportunity for expressive vitality. A spectacle marked by the spirited bustle of market stalls, offering coal sticks for the eyes, aromatic oils to wear as invisibly as bragging rights, and alabaster pots brimming with benign cosmetics that double as insect repellents in the dim. Historians still debate if the pursuit of cleanliness was purely functional, reflecting ritualistic health practices, or permeated with a vein closer to formality and fashion. A tale borne by accounts of perfumed linen, neatly combed beards, and sandals cleaned meticulously at sun's falling. In a moment of levity, consider a Babylonian family testing the latest in natural deodorant, comprised of crushed lavender and ground aloes, to mask odours during summer gatherings. Genuine chuckles ripple as the fragrance, overpowering yet undeniably floral, becomes a potent reminder of humanity's ongoing battle with nature's signatures. The treatment of hygiene extends beyond individuals to the city as a whole. The systems in place blast suggestions of modern waste management pathways, showcasing innovations, from aqueducts and drains to comprehensive street cleaning, meant to maintain cleanliness and uphold the city's aura. Discovering these subtle evolutions encapsulates the unfolding lexicon of proactive public necessities, quietly constructed into Babylon's very bones. As the dusk settles its cool embrace over Babylon's sandstone silhouette, the evening air lingers with the faintest trace of olive oil soap, a tribute to the day's labours, extending their silent epitaph. With rhythms slowing down, citizens close doors upon low stone stoops, retreating into shadows where flickering lamplights safeguard gentle dreams. A sense of kinship embraces you at the heart of this unfolding tableau, a vignette painted with gestures of shared sensations across millennia, where the human pursuit of neatness mirrors the commonality of life itself. Personal hygiene, simple yet significant, connects even the disparate realms across an eternal narrative. In Babylon, endurance etches itself upon the enduring mirage of civilization arching gracefully over time. From the simplest stone-sandaled shuffle to whispered wisdom tread down parched avenues. Hygiene becomes more than ritual, a thread spun wholly into our woven identity, living in every fleeting genesis and forgot-to-bathe punchline that ever connected earth to sky. As you traverse the storied avenues of ancient Babylon, you become increasingly aware of the formidable force that lies beneath its cultured exterior, the art of war. In this ancient city where civilization and conflict intersect, the strategies and tools of warfare are omnipresent, reflective of an empire perpetually poised between peace and readiness for battle. Here in Babylon, you find not only a city of wonder, but also a bastion of military power and organization. Your journey takes you to an expansive training ground outside the city walls, where the rhythmic clash of weapons and the shouts of commanders punctuate the air. This martial symphony, an enduring testament to Babylon's strategic focus, plays out in a well-tuned orchestration under the watchful gaze of seasoned generals. Each drill is a homage to discipline, a choreography as precise as the lines of cuneiform etched into the ever-present clay. The Babylonian army is a composite force, drawing together citizens and career soldiers under banners of loyalty and duty. Spearmen clad in leather armour practice formations, shields interlocking to form an impenetrable phalanx. Archers adjust their stance, fine-tuning the tension in their longbows, each arrow a potential volley of fate. The cavalry, a testament to mobility, rounds off this assembly, their mounts pawing the earth like thunderous harbingers of might. In this theatre of preparation, humour finds its footing amidst the martial atmosphere, as young recruits unintentionally mix up formations, the uneven shuffle and corrective rebukes sparking shared laughter, breaking through the rigorous tension. It serves as a reminder that warriors too hold their moments of humanity, sharing camaraderie beside the embers of anticipation. The weapons of Babylon are more than mere metal and wood. They are embodiments of a dance between form and function, innovation and necessity. From the curve of an axe designed to cleave through armour to the dexterity required to mould arrowheads, Each piece holds a story, a narrative that intertwines the craftsman's skill with the soldier's courage. Historians still argue about the exact nuances of Babylonian battle tactics, passing through artifacts and chronicles to discern strategies. What stands unquestioned is Babylon's emphasis on maintaining defences as robust as its cultural achievements. An empire defined by its impetus to safeguard the prosperity cradled within its formidable walls. Amidst the clangor of preparation, your path intertwines with the tales spun by soldiers recounting skirmishes along the borders. Their voices blend narrative with embellishment, breathing life into the echoes of swords clashing, dust swirling in the wake of conflict. Each tale holds both fiction and truth, layered with the bravado of past victories and defeat, neither wholly accurate nor entirely forgotten. For a whimsical twist, imagine a soldier inscribing a humorous anecdote into his gear, armed with the knowledge that even war is not immune to levity, his helmet bearing a cartoonish sketch of an unruly goat challenging the cosmos, a light-hearted counterbalance to gravity's pull. The day wanes, casting longer shadows that stretch like history beneath Babylon's walls. Walls themselves a potent symbol of the city's military resolve. These fortifications, impenetrable as myths declare, hold within them the weight of Babylon's desire to endure. The city's outer reaches are marbled with watchtowers, from which guardians survey the horizon for signs of movement, giving ample notice should adversity draw near. This robust defensive network, more than brick and mortar, manifests Babylon's spirit of resilience, a living, breathing entity embracing the tenacity of its people and the heights of its ambition. Its balance of power interlocks seamlessly with the cultural pulse, forming the spine of a city devoted to both creativity and might. As evening casts its calming veil, the clamour of military exercise recedes, leaving the training fields in a hushed repose. The soldiers return homeward, their footsteps blending with Babylon's lullabies, a mingling chorus that carries through twilight's embrace. Walking along the city's ancient paths, you grasp the full scope of Babylon's might, a city forever vigilant, shaped by both sword and science. Here, nestled among tales of martial prowess and peaceful contemplation, lies Babylon's enduring legacy, a testament to the conviction that valor finds its rightful place beside wisdom, crafting the timeless ledger that records human achievement. In this space where the guardians of the past watch over the city of tomorrow, you sense an ongoing narration, one that heralds the resolve to protect, to defend, and to thrive. Bid adieu to the fading echoes of day. Your journey through Babylon continues, as reassuringly constant as the silent sentinels who guard a city's eternal flame against the approaching night. As the daily pulse of Babylon settles into a quiet rhythm, the city once again prepares to transform, igniting with the jubilant energy of celebration. Just as the Euphrates flows ceaselessly through its heart, so too does the spirit of festivity course through Babylonian life. The great city is known for its grand festivals, an exuberant burst of communal joy and religious reverence that lifts the ancient city into celestial heights. As you wander through Babylon's streets, the anticipation is palpable. Vibrant banners unfurl from stone facades, and the air fills with melodies crafted by skilled musicians tuning their lyres and drums, their rhythmic pulses promising a night of enchantment and delight. Children dart about, caught in the excitement of the moments that precede these grand celebrations, their laughter mingling with the scent of tantalizing aromas that waft from food stalls preparing for the evening's feasts. Babylonian festivals are storied affairs, intrinsically woven into the very fabric of the city's identity. The Akitu Festival, celebrating the new year and the rebirth of the natural world, stands as a pinnacle of the annual calendar. You find yourself caught up in the pageantry, a procession like none other, weaving its vibrant pathways through the city, dedicated to Marduk, the city's patron deity. The crowd sways in unison, a living tapestry of colour and fervour that winds through the winding streets towards temple precincts, where the air echoes with chanting prayers and ritual invocations. Historians still argue over specific festival practices, piecing together the tapestry of celebrations through tablets and tales passed down with reverence. What remains undisputed is the magnetic excitement that grips both citizen and visitor, binding them with the magic a single moment has to offer. Displays of humour find a precious footing here. Imagine jesters who wander the crowd, eliciting joy and banter among those gathered. Their light-hearted antics serve as comic respite amidst the more formal proceedings, blending wit and play into the merriment. You see an elder laughing joyfully as a jester bestows upon him a makeshift crown, a humble gesture embodying an ancient lyrical dance between laughter and reverence. For a whimsical scene, envision a potter's comedic stall, where roughly sculpted clay figures offer satirical snapshots of daily life. A baker lamenting dough mishaps, a merchant horrified at a spilling amphora. Each a carefully exaggerated vignette reminding all that humour flourishes in the most familiar places. As dusk descends, the festival atmosphere deepens, suffused with the glow of torches lining paths and illuminating the faces of eager revellers. The music crescendos, a pulsating heartbeat propelling the night onwards, threading the tapestry of celebration into the rich backdrop of a star-strewn sky. Families gather curbside or atop flat rooftops, sharing feasts that become stories, the unspoken contest of dish delights passed around with pride. Animated conversations buoyed by ale and the clinking of bronze goblets remind you of the kinship born amid the artistry of Babylonian gastronomy. Community and connection sparkle as they take root beneath the reflected glow of lamps, dancing choreographed gestures toward the celestial canopy. In a testament to cultural communion, dancers spring forth in kaleidoscopic whirls, their movements reflecting the deep ties of tradition. For a moment, the city's hum becomes a singular note, like the echo of a heartbeat, wrapping everyone within its embrace. As the festival unfolds, you understand that these celebrations are more than mere spectacle. They are expressions of gratitude and continuity, a conduit arching beyond revelry to link the cycles of life. Babylon stands as a beacon of humanity's timeless themes, of rebirth and renewal, of hope and harvest, of devotion, interwoven with dreams. The night unfurls its deepest hues as the city dances its way toward dawn. The echoes of festivity wrap around you like a comforting embrace, a soothing reminder of the enduring beauty inherent in shared joy. Babylon's stillness breathes a lingering melody, a whisper of connection across generations and civilizations, carrying its vibrant legacy into the realm of dreams. With festivities gradually drawing to a close, embrace the calming serenity gently blanketing the city and consider the universal thread woven here. It's a celebration not just of cultural rhythm, but of human spirit, eternal and universal, as inseparable from time as moonlight is from night. Your path through Babylon finds meaning in these cherished moments, a timeless narrative that transcends fact to softly sing the ancient lullaby of unity beyond its storied streets. As the festival haze fades into Babylon's everyday rhythm, your exploration leads you to the imposing halls of its judicial system, a realm where justice is weighed and dispensed with both solemnity and precision. In this ancient city where monumental codes and age-old customs mingle, Babylon's courts and the intricacies of its punishment reveal a distinct narrative thread that underscores the city's ethos. The edifice of the judicial hall rises grandly, etched tablets bearing witness to Babylon's enduring quest for equity. Steps resound beneath your feet as you enter, mingling with the murmurs of litigants and scribes who fill the corridors, their presence a testament to the city's complex and organized legal framework. Inside, rotundas reverberate with a symphony of debates. At the heart of this system is Hammurabi's Code, renowned for its detailed prescriptions of justice. Engraved onto basalt steel, these laws echo the principle of retributive justice, spelling out explicit consequences. Some harsh by modern standards, you ponder this ancient ethos as you observe the proceedings. Property disputes, theft, and even personal grievances heard with careful deliberation. The role of the judges is pivotal. Clad in robes symbolizing their station, they arbitrate with gravitas, drawing upon both precedent and divine will. It's a practice steeped in tradition, where legal precision and moral scrutiny pave the path. The courtroom, while formal, is not devoid of humanity. There's room for empathy, compromise, and rare glimpses of humour as litigants navigate the complexities of law. A timeless dance between protocol and progress. A humorous instance unfolds as you witness a farmer spinning a yarn so delightfully exaggerated about a goat-eating vine that even the sternest judge cracks a smile. The tale spins through the courtroom like a refreshing breeze, cutting through the solemnity. A reminder of storytelling's enduring place in human interaction. Historians still debate the scope of punishment relative to deterrence or control. Scholars poring over replicas of code for hints of ancient Babylonian sentiment. Jurisprudence here balances order with artistry, evidenced by crime prevention practices entrenched in civic design. In the execution of judgment, punishments are varied. The balance of deterrence sounds tirelessly in the civic theatre. Infractions ranging from simple theft to treason call for reparations that blend practicality with a touch of severity. Exile, fines, corporal penalties, all bear traces of profound belief in justice's rectifying potential. Stone outcroppings that once hosted public trials eerily chorus the lessons long penned across their time-worn surface. For a whimsical mental image, ponder rows of sheep awaiting a verdict in a property dispute. A bleating chorus as bemused magistrates ponder their very fate. These quirky scenarios underscore the timelessness of human errors and foibles amid Babylon's earnest alliance of accountability. Beyond the courtroom, you explore the lesser-seen network of scribes and counsel, those threading legal strategy with lighter touchstones on parchment. Astute insights exchange hands beneath pinched lamplight, guiding decisions through corridors of power, yet offer neither tangibility nor permanence. A reminder that justice's full taste takes generations to simmer on that ancient tongue. As the sun drops its curtain on the Babylonian skyline, you find yourself enveloped in philosophical musings. Among them, the inherent tension between the pursuit of justice and the inevitability of human fallibility. Even as the shadows soften the city's edges, Babylon marks its legacy in law's immortal dialogue, a testament to civilization's introspective pursuit toward harmony. The roots of Babylon's legal framework intertwine with those of modern governance, casting strawberries across millennia. It's a shared strand of humanity's ceaseless pursuit for equity, preserved for listeners' guiding judgment scale regardless of time's passage. The journey through these historic chambers ends with resonant empathy, safeguarding the universal understanding that justice, elusive and imperfect, remains a steadfast horizon guiding civilization's odyssey. With every footfall echoing borrowed knowledge, pause beneath starry nights, cinched tight to Babylon's transcendent tale. Reveal the resonant chorus, awakened along whisper-soft breath, the threadbare story of compassion, resilience, and redemption that inks the parchment of an unyielding human spirit. As the stars scatter like jewels across the Babylonian night sky, you find yourself pulled toward an ancient practice that captures the city's enduring fascination with the cosmos. Astrology. In Babylon, the tapestry of time and space is intricately woven, and the celestial bodies above are not merely distant lights, but sacred waypoints that guide the course of human events. Your path leads you to one of the many ziggurats dedicated to observing the heavens. Here, on its lofty terraces, Babylonian astrologers ply their craft, casting their gaze upon the constellations, tracing arcs across the velvet sky. Their tools are rudimentary by modern standards. Simple sighting instruments and clay tablets etched with meticulous markings that chart the movements of stars and planets. Yet through these humble implements, the astrologers craft narratives of destiny and divine intention. In Babylon, astrology is more than a curiosity. It is an esteemed science, founded upon centuries of observation. The movement of celestial bodies is believed to reflect the rhythm of terrestrial life. It influences everything from the outcome of kingly endeavours to the fortunes of crops and the health of individuals. The night sky, alive with the stories of gods and heroes, is both guide and oracle. You watch as an astrologer consults his star chart, murmuring calculations that decipher the sky's secrets. Nearby, his apprentice clutches a clay tablet, furiously inscribing notes as constellations grace the firmament. Each configuration, each alignment holds symbolic significance, an echo of cosmic order that informs the decisions of those tethered to the earth. Humour twinkles among the celestial solemnity, as one astrologer recounts how a misaligned star once foretold a visit from an eccentric relative rather than the anticipated fortune. His colleagues laugh heartily, proof that even amid rigorous study, the unexpected and whimsical thrive. The scholars hold many debates, arguing over interpretations of celestial omens and their broader implications. Historians still ponder whether Babylon's astronomical achievements set a cornerstone for later cultures, or if their mysteries lie uniquely intertwined with Babylonian thought. Yet the contribution is clear. Here originated the impulse to understand the universe not as a chaotic expanse, but as a structured cosmos imbued with meaning. For a whimsical mental image, picture an apprentice interrupting a grand discussion with a question, mistakenly, about divine cheese-making, leading to rounds of laughter among the astronomers. The mirth is a gentle reminder of this timeless human quest for meaning amid cosmic mysteries. As night drifts onward, you reflect on the deep connection the Babylonians foster with the heavens, a relationship that shapes their actions and guides their beliefs. In the flickering torchlight atop the ziggurat, you ponder the timeless wisdom captured in these celestial conversations and how it continues to echo through the ages. The stars, steadfast above, bear witness to these human stories, and as their silvery glow reflects in your eyes, you capture a fragment of their enduring magic. In this ancient dance of light and darkness, you're reminded that humanity's interest in the heavens is as unwavering as the celestial bodies themselves, a testament to our shared curiosity and longing for understanding. With the cool night air cradling you in its embrace, the distant sounds of evening life in Babylon fade, replaced by the quiet symphony of the cosmos. You drift along the starlit edge of slumber, dreaming amid patterns graced by imagination's weave. Even as the city dims to nightly whispers, your thoughts wander across celestial pastures, mirroring countless stargazers before you, each staring skyward into the vast, eternal night. As the first light of dawn begins to lace the firmament with hues of amber and gold, Babylon stirs awake, and your exploration turns to a cornerstone of the city's daily life, the bustling commerce of cattle and the vital economy it supports. Within the intricate pathways of trade and barter, you discover the rhythmic heartbeat of Babylonian society, a system deeply entwined with the land, its livestock, and the relentless hum of markets that sustain this ancient metropolis. The aroma of dew-kissed earth mingles with the familiar scent of livestock as you enter the bustling stockyard just outside the city's gates. Here, shepherds and traders converge at the break of day, their voices forming a lively tapestry of shouts and greetings, the language of commerce echoing off the dawn-chilled stones. The air buzzes with energy, the lively interaction of buyers evaluating the worth of lowing cattle and bleating sheep who stand stoically amidst this frenetic exchange. Cattle are a linchpin of Babylon's economy, providing not only meat and milk, but also hides and wool that are woven into the fabric of life. The marketplace is an arena of calculated negotiation, where traders grasp leather reins with familiarity and barter with the deftness of a well-rehearsed play. You watch as a herder showcases a particularly fine bull, its coat glinting like spun gold in the sunlight, a testament to painstaking care and breeding prowess. Historians continue to debate the market's dynamics, analysing ancient texts to understand whether Babylon's trade routes effectively influenced exchange rates in neighbouring lands. A testament to the complexity of their trade networks. Far beyond simple transactions, every exchange here ripples through the wider economy, like distant currents in a boundless ocean. An amusing moment unfolds as a particularly stubborn goat breaks free, weaving a rambunctious path through the marketplace. Laughter and shouts ensue as traders join together to corral the feisty escapee, a welcome levity amid the serious work of commerce that underscores the communal nature of Babylonian life. Beyond the lively spirit of the livestock market, your journey takes you to the grain exchanges, fields of golden barley and spelt standing proudly as crops that feed the city and beyond. As labourers weigh out sacks of grain beneath open awnings, you witness the seamless integration of agriculture into the urban pulse. Here, trade embodies not just exchange, but the promise of sustenance and prosperity, marking the continuity between sun-drenched fields and bustling markets. The wheat and barley transactions resonate with a deeper understanding of Babylon's agricultural cycles, a dance performed with the earth, guided by celestial charts long preserved through ink and memory. The weight of each transaction resonates, entangling both past and future in a pact of reliance and resource. A quirky realization surfaces as you contemplate currency itself. Like the small tic-tac pebble tallies used to measure transactions and balances, blending practical utility with simple charm. These seemingly mundane aspects paint a vibrant picture of economic life, each stone clattering as a tiny chorus in Babylon's market symphony. As the sun ascends, the hum of the marketplace crescendos and settles into a steady rhythm. Traders shake hands in acknowledgement of successful deals, while scribes document transactions with meticulous care. Beneath the canopy of blue sky and rising sun, you feel the continuity of these vibrant exchanges, a continuum that transcends time and landscape. In this dance of barter and trade, you grasp Babylon's intricate narrative, a story flatteringly intertwined with labor and life, yet worn proudly as a crown of civilization. Within these exchanges lies the spirit of human innovation, the creation of a foundation on which empires rise and sustain themselves. As the shadows lengthen and the marketplace begins to quieten, you walk the same paths tread by countless generations, each footstep a historical echo. The tales of commerce and kinship reflect a shared understanding of the symbiotic cycle of society and sustenance, carried forward under the watchful eyes of distant stars. Against the towering ziggurats and gardens of Babylon, your thoughts capture the essence of its storied economy, an intricate tapestry woven from soil and sweat, casting tendrils of influence and endeavor far beyond its borders. In the silent embrace of evening, where day turns to night, and the city's flickering lights dance a silent reel, the marketplace quietly rests under a canopy of stars, forever whispering the tales of Babylon's legacy through each measured breath and starbound gaze. As your exploration of Babylon reaches its final chapter, the city unfolds its closing curtain, a tapestry woven with the threads of history, decline, and enduring legacy. Here, on the banks of the ancient Euphrates, the final scenes of the city's vibrant story come into focus, imbued with the gentle echo of forgotten whispers and the ever-present murmur of the river's timeless song. Under the golden hue of the setting sun, Babylon stands as a testament to its grandeur and resilience. The once bustling streets, while quieter now, are still thick with the memories of a thriving metropolis that defied the sands of time with its towering ziggurats, rich traditions, and a concurrent pulsation of a society built on faith, innovation, and trade. As you stroll by the ruins, you can't help but wonder about the inevitable decline. Historians still debate the full array of circumstances that led to Babylon's fall, from military conquests and shifting sands of political power to environmental challenges and the shifting trade routes. What does remain clear, however, is the softness of power revealing itself through gradual changes, like the slow retreat of the tides. Imagine the city at its dusk, its bright banners faded, yet its spirit undimmed. A witness to the rise and fall of empires, Babylon cradles the stories of countless souls, their lives intertwined in the intricate web of history. Within these time-worn corridors and majestic remnants, a paradox unfolds. Babylon's decline bears not just the mark of an ending, but the beginning of a legacy that reaches out across time and space. The quiet imbues the streets like a soft dusk veil, as you trace homage in the footprints of those who came before. In a city once alive with arts, commerce, and faith, the now silent ziggurat pillars cast long shadows, testament to an enduring allure that speaks across the ages. The irony lingers. A city that once thrummed with activity now whispers its stories to the open air. Humour, too, has not abandoned this storied place. Imagine the ghost of a Babylonian merchant still wryly pondering exchange rates, or the jocular jester whose antics leave eternal smiles on the face of those who pause to peel away the layers of time's tapestry. A whimsical thought lightly traverses your mind, picturing future scholars painstakingly unearthing tiny remnants of this grand city, marveling at discoveries that blend the mundane with the miraculous. A clay cup here, a scribbled note there. They piece together Babylon's legacy, not unlike the star charts of celestial movements, casting new light upon the tapestry woven by ancient hands. As the sun dips below the horizon and stars twinkle awake, the day's warmth gives way to a cooling breeze that breathes a gentle lullaby through the ruins. You pause by the serene banks of the Euphrates, the river that sustained, cradled, and defined this city. Babylon's silent guardian, carrying its stories into the endless embrace of history's expanse. Finally, as you prepare to depart, you've carried with you a piece of Babylon's heart, its vibrant pulse that echoes through each rising dawn within you. The lessons of resilience, creativity, and human spirit hold strong, like whispers harmonizing with the distant night. As you step away from this cradle of civilization, you carry forth the legacy, its enduring song that will ever grace the corridors of time. With gratitude and introspection, you leave Babylon behind, your sojourn echoing in the shared memory of generations past and present. And as the moon ascends into a sky that belongs both to you and to them, your thoughts drift with the rhythm of the stars. May you find solace and inspiration in their ageless light, and may Babylon's voice softly guide you to peaceful dreams, inviting you to reflect on the journey, the echoes of history, and the gentle truth that in the dance between past and present, we are all a part of Babylon's enduring tale. Greater than, greater than, greater than. Sweet dreams.